Drama, oh my God, on a television show. Okay fam, I just came across this video that went up from Nicki Swift and I wanted to answer some of these things that are going on because let me tell you, I was answering in the comments and I just needed to just like make this video really quickly. I don't know how quick it's gonna be, but it's 8 reasons why The Voice is totally fake. The first thing I'm gonna say is disclaimer. It's a reality TV show. It's not always real, but okay, I'm gonna get into just the questions. The first one is coaching for the cameras, and in the video they talk about how the stars don't give the contestants a whole lot of coaching time. We see a few little minutes they get coached during their package, and it was saying Dindal, who was on the show, said, you know, she didn't get a whole lot of coaching from her coach. Most of the coaching came from vocal coaches, from the band. They got notes from so many different people on the show. But this is all coaching. As a professional performer, you are going to get things from your vocal coach about how you're going to do the song, from your band leader how you're going to do the song, from your choir director. If you're on stage, you're going to get notes from the stage manager. You're going to get all kinds of notes from different people, and that is a very professional thing. Yes, you may only get an hour or 2 a week with your star vocal coach, but you get coaching. You get professional coaching from professional people all around you on the show. Then we get number 2, theft accusations. And they're talking about how one arrangement was supposedly stolen from Postmodern Jukebox. And I remember that arrangement and it was beautiful. But listen, when you are inspired by someone, as an artist, your thing is that you go out and you see things that are happening in the world. You see things that are doing, and you build upon it. People may do an arrangement of a song that was inspired by someone else, and they add their own few little things to it and do it different this way and add their own little spice to it. But that is the way that we make music. And as a cover, you're already building on what somebody else has made. You're not doing anything original. They got the chord structure. They did the words. They made the melody. All you're doing is giving it your own flair. So that's all that they're doing on the show as far as I'm concerned. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Number 3, judgy judges. They talk about how backstage there's drama, oh my God, on a television show between big ego judges, supposedly. And let's just face it, when you're doing a show, and I've done many shows, not everybody gets along. But when you get on stage, you are performing, and you're not gonna let anybody see that because that makes you lesser of a performer. I have been in a show, let me tell you, when my first tour, where the lead and the understudy almost got into a fist fight. But when it came time to do the show, they pulled it together and they did what they had to do because the understudy was still in the chorus, you know, during the show. This happens. It's backstage drama, and let me tell you, sometimes it's something that performers live for. We like to see what's going on and talk about who's doing who and who's fighting who doesn't like who. So judgy judges, who cares? You know, sometimes that extra emotion actually adds to the on-stage fun, because you can jibe at somebody with something you might have said nasty, but on stage you're gonna be a little nicer, and it ends up being a little funny moment, but you kind of expressing some of your angst and your dislike for that person. Is this number 4? I think it's number 4. Television roots, they say. And because the show is produced by television people instead of music people, they're saying that's the reason why a lot of the artists have not broken, you know, the superstar status that, say, an American Idol or an X Factor has. And I can understand that. That is a good point, because they don't have the roots in the music industry, and they can't really make those connections while things are going on. But it's not totally true, because all of these artists who are on the show know other famous artists who could pick this person up as a mentor, take this person out on tour as a background singer, you know, do this. It's all about networking and doing your job after the show is over in order to move you forward in your career. Writing good material if you write, or finding great material if you don't write, can be another thing. Making demos for people and sending them around. Keeping in contact with those people who said that they love you so much and they enjoyed your renditions of their covers, and saying, hey, I've got this going on, I've got that going on, do you mind if I send you this? And getting advice. These are all things that you have to do. Sometimes your hustle, instead of where you were placed like in the show, is going to decide how far you go in your career. And a little bit of luck, of course. Another thing they point out is that winning means little, because most of the winners of The Voice haven't become superstars like American Idol. You know, Fantasia and Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood have become famous. But again, it's what you do afterwards that decides how far you are going to go in your career. The good thing about being the winner is on your resume, you have been the Voice winner. You know, you've won the show. It's that you finished, and you finished out on top of everyone else. So number 6, votes. What votes? It says, and the premise is that the producers actually pick the people who move forward and not the actual votes. And this is possibly true. But I know in the disclaimers and stuff, it says that the producers have the right to throw out any votes or to not count things that they want to count and blah, 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 that, and the other. But I can tell you what they probably do look at. They probably do look at who's charting on the charts, on the iTunes charts, who's selling more material, who's getting more votes, who gets more engagement throughout the show, who's getting more whatever, social media attention, and they want to keep those people on longer in order to make sure that the ratings stay as high as they can. And then sometimes they want to do a surprise elimination because it gets everyone talking, gets people upset, get them more engaged into the show, and gets some radio exposure, television exposure, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't only get the show that exposure, it gets the person who was eliminated that exposure. So don't forget that. They also make the rounds a lot of times to talk about their surprise elimination. Number 7, contestants are an afterthought. Okay, and it's saying that it's the judges who actually are getting all of the exposure on the show. But I would like to put this forth. Every single cog in this machine is important. Without the celebrity coaches, then we don't have the draw of having all these people who come in. They already have their fans, and a lot of their fans are already coming to watch the show to see them every week, how they interact, to get to know them better. Without the contestants, you have no one competing, so you don't have any, thing to work with. The whole premise of the show is that people are competing. So they aren't an afterthought. They are all a part of it. The production, the musicians, the guests, all of them are wheels in the cog, and without one of those things happening, you just don't have a successful show. So I think that the coaches sometimes do steal some of the spotlight, but when the contestants are on stage, they are taking that spotlight. They are the ones that are performing. They are the ones that are gaining fans. They are the ones that people are talking about at that moment and sometimes afterwards. Because let me tell you, I always think it's funny because I've been doing commentary on the show on my main channel since the very first season. And it's always funny to me when some big, famous, Grammy-winning, Oscar-winning, whatever performer comes on the show and they're doing a duet with one of the contestants and nobody is paying attention to the guest star. They're all talking about what the contestant did, or that they didn't get enough time, or that maybe they sang a little better than this person, or so they are obviously getting their amount of exposure, more exposure than they would get on any other platform outside of TV. They are on national television and they are on YouTube. Their performances are getting posted on YouTube, so they are getting international exposure. You can't buy that. And number 8, viewers are catching on, and it's saying because viewers are saying that it's not as real as they think it is, that the numbers are starting to fall off. But let's face it, American Idol was all the way up here when they started out, and they went 15 seasons, going down and down and down, but they were still number 1 in their slot when they finished. The Voice has already made 11 seasons in 5 years. So, yes, people get a little disillusioned when their favorite people go home. People get upset that this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen, they stop watching. People move on to a newer show because let me tell you, sometimes you just get tired of watching the same old kind of thing all the time. That happens. Shows go up, they peak, they might plateau for a while, then they start going down, and eventually they get canceled. That's just the way it is in television. But what I wanted to say as far as this whole experience of The Voice, I'm a performer. I'm a singer-songwriter. I do this professionally for a living. I'm out gigging during the weekends. I'm at home working on music, maybe writing, doing YouTube during the week. And I love this show because it seems like it's a win for everybody in the show. From the coaches who are getting more exposure for their music and their releases and what they're doing. For the contestants who are getting international exposure, gaining thousands, hundreds of thousands sometimes of fans. For the producers who have a hit show going on and they're bringing in that money, you know what I'm saying? For the network who is getting the market share for one, but also they're getting all the ad revenue, and they're getting hit shows with Emmy nominations and all these good things. And for the audience, I'm not gonna finish with the audience. I'm gonna say this. For the audience, because the audience, as an audience member personally, I get to watch these people put through their paces. It's fun, it's funny. I get to know these coaches better. I get some good advice from the coaches, from what they are telling these artists to use in my performances. I also get to watch these artists grow and learn and become a little better at what they do. Maybe a lot better at what they do. And to blossom a lot of times. You get to see them here where they begin, and you get to see them at the end of this part of their journey, which is a great thing. As an audience member though, I also get to discover new songs that I haven't heard, and old songs that they do that I also may not have heard. I get to hear songs that are reimagined in a different way that I might not have thought of. Songwriters are what I want to finish with. Songwriters on this show get the mother load. You've been writing songs all your life and say your career is pretty much over. You played on the oldie stations every now and then someone does your song and suddenly it's selling again. It's in the top 100, it's in the top 40, it's in the top 20, it's in the top 10. And it generates more income for the songwriters, sometimes interest in the original artists. People start doing maybe covers on YouTube. So all of these things for me tell me that the show is a good thing for all people involved. And for those that are voted off a little too early, hey, they still have been on national television. It goes on their resume. They've gotten to meet all these other artists who are also performing with them. They've gotten so much great input, not only from the celebrity coaches, but from the vocal coaches, from the musical directors. So there are all these things that, for me as an artist, someone said, oh, well, if I was an aspiring performer, I don't think I would want to go on a show like that. So I'm not going to talk to nobody. I didn't talk enough. This is probably 10 minutes already. I just wanted to answer this 8 reasons why The Voice is totally fake, and why I think that even if it's totally fake, which is not, because people do have to get up and perform. People got to get voted off, and sometimes it hurts some people's feelings. So it's not totally fake, but it is entertainment, and it is a win for everybody involved. Okay, this is Robert Anton, robertanton.com. Check out some of my other videos. I'll talk a few seconds and put up the things over here so that you can see. But I'm a singer-songwriter. Once again, I do YouTube commentary. I do a little comedy. I do a little acting. I do a little this, a little that, and the other. Check out some of my originals, some of my covers. Subscribe and tell me what you thought down in the comments. I'm out.